Tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Talk, brought to you by the Running It Back Network right here on YouTube, is here. It's ready. It is Thanksgiving weekend. Boy, there were a lot of games. Did you watch them all? If you did, great. If you didn't, hey, that's what we're here for. Omar Carmona joins me. We have a spirited round of early game talk, late game talk, awards, and a special Thanksgiving trivia game. We talk about a lot of stuff. Hey, don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to it. Every single subscriber helps. And all my videos are up there. My interview series, my movie series, not to mention my stand-up comedy clips are going up there all the time as well. I have an interview that is being recorded this week that will be up there soon as well. So take a look at it. It will be up on the channel. And I thank you for your support. Today on the show, Omar's here. We talk about the Buffalo-Philly matchup, Thanksgiving games, the Black Friday game. We took in a lot. The awards are some of the spicier ones we've done this year. So get ready. It's here. A capper to your Sunday night. All right, it is a Sunday Night Talk. It is 7:51 p.m. West Coast time. Omar joins me. He is here. It is Thanksgiving weekend. We made it.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We made it to the end of the week. Yeah, thanks, man. How was your Thanksgiving?
Good. How was yours?
No, it's good. It was low key here on the West Coast. It's nice and pleasant weather. I gotta say, I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I might be footballed out. We've had football since Thursday.
Yeah.
Every Saturday, if you count college, we had 3 games Thursday. We had a Black Friday game. We had college Saturday. We had games today. There's a game tomorrow. I might have football overload. Like, when you're like, I love pumpkin pie, but I can't eat any more pumpkin pie. I think that's where I'm at right now.
It was a lot. And then for some, like I've told you in other shows, I've never been a big college. I used to be a college guy. But then, it's like, how can you not watch Michigan, Ohio State, And I did get 4 days of football.
Yeah, I think we all got a lot of, we were overserved in every category this weekend. Family, food, drinking, and now football. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. And we've got this Sunday night game where I did text you earlier. I'm like, please don't let me text you, hey, the Chargers look good tonight. Because the Chargers, they're just finding ways to get themselves out of this game. They're inside the 10 and Herbert fumbles the ball. And now he's in the injury tent.
They have a franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert, right? So, they got to start evaluating the other positions, building around him. They have the franchise quarterback, but they just have to build around this guy. That's a bad football team.
Yeah, they're fumbling they're the kings of a 12-yard pass and then the receiver fumbles the ball. They're the king of we're inside the 10 and Herbert holds it for that just half a second too long and he fumbles the ball. The saddest part was he's going in the injury tent, but someone has to come out of the injury tent before he goes in. Somebody came out of there and he's like, okay, can I go in now? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Now I can look at my injury. It's the weirdest thing because I feel like America wants the Chargers to do well. Am I alone in feeling like that? That the Chargers are like America's little brother and they just want to see him succeed?
I think for the most part, Americans hate football in LA. So, case in point, basically they're home games for the road team.
Well, that is true. I will agree with that. However, I would say we like the Chargers. I don't even think we associate the Chargers with LA yet. I still think they're plucky Chargers.
It would be nice for them to win a title. They've been around so long.
Yeah, and that's why I think America kind of loves an underdog. They're like, yeah, come on, do good. Come on, Phillip Rivers. Come on, the Justin Herbert. This team is good, and yet they're never good. And I will say, we're only in the fourth quarter here. We started early tonight. Herbert's back in the game. And I'm going to tell you right now, Omar, this is going to come down to the last 2 minutes. Even though the Chargers should not be in this game, it's going down to the last 2 minutes. You know it is. Every single game, at least in the early games, every single game was a one-score game. It was a fun early game.
I'll tell you this. The one bright spot of the Chargers is their uniforms. I like that navy blue.
Yeah, I do too. And it's almost like it's giving them like a little jump start. They're like, oh yeah, look at this cool uniform we got. Don't forget, we got these uniforms. And to top it all off, a very long weekend, we got Mike Tirico and Jason Garrett in the booth tonight. Yeah. Where's Chris Collinsworth?
Hey, the old is like I said, has he reached old man status where now we can't expect 2 games from him because it's just too much?
What do you mean 2 games? What was the other? Oh, he did
Thursday night.
Thursday night was the MVC, right? Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, but his son was there in the pregame. Like what? Like what's going on there? Or maybe he needed a break from the family. He's like, hey, I'm with my son all year long. Like I need a break.
Yeah, that could be it. Let's go with that.
Yeah, Al Michaels didn't he do the Thursday game too? Or what did Al Michaels do? Al Michaels not taking weeks off.
He got the Black Friday game.
Al Michaels did Black Friday. Why does Chris Collinsworth get a week off? I'm not crazy about this. We got to listen to Garrett.
They paid Al Michaels a lot of money.
Yeah, I guess so. And credit to Al Michaels. He's a team player. Chris Collinsworth taking Thanksgiving off. His son, they should have put his son in the booth. Screw it. Let his son give it a shot. Better than Jason Garrett. I don't know what is Jason Garrett's talking about this whole game.
Well, you saw the what was I going to go I remember watching, I think it was at 60 Minutes or maybe Inside Sports with that HBO show, and they were talking how Chris Collinsworth has a full-blown press box in his house, so he can put in videos of old games. He'll study that specific game leading up to it, and he will call the game as he's watching it. So he's probably called the 86, the drive where Elway went down to beat the Cleveland Browns. He's probably called that game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's just zoom him in real quick. I mean, Jason Garrett I think he's a zombie. He's telling some weird story about Lamar's wristband. At one point, he brought up the Jordan LeBron debate. I'm like, what are you doing, Jason Garrett? What is happening here? The most exciting part of this game was when they reviewed that backwards pass by the Chargers. That was it. That was the most exciting part of this whole game. And also, Jason Garrett has had like 2 costume changes. Did you see him? They showed him, and he's got the dress shirt, but he had the sleeves rolled up. But he still had the tie. But in like the third quarter, then he had the suit back on. I don't know what's going on here. Like, why does NBC love Jason Garrett talking to America? I take more Tirico. Let Tirico do it solo. I
wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate Tirico solo.
I don't know what Garrett's doing in that booth. His stories are going nowhere. We have a Chargers touchdown though, by the way. I told you this game was going to be close.
Oh, you're well ahead of me.
Oh, I'm on the antenna, so I'm like 30 seconds ahead of like.
Yeah, it's always that close, right, with the antenna.
Yeah, I don't know why the big difference, but we got to get it together technology wise.
I mean, it's 2023, Patrick.
Right.
And I mean, is it in this day and age? Is it? Do we really need to worry about a delay? It seems like the hot mic catches a lot of bad words anyway.
Yeah, well, but it still wouldn't catch if I'm on the antenna.
You're right.
I'd still hear. It's something. It's all radio waves. We're not there yet, Carmona. We're not there. And I bet the radio, if you just heard the audio feed, I bet that's even a few seconds in front of that too. We take for granted all this technology we have. I'm still assuming Baltimore is going to come away with this win. So, the class of the NFL, can we safely say Philadelphia, San Francisco, Baltimore, KC, and then my question is, where's Jacksonville fall in?
Jacksonville, big win today. Jacksonville may be arguably the best team right now in the AFC, and they're playing like it.
They're the number one seed in the AFC right now, I think.
Right, and if the Chargers pull a comeback off, they will go into the weekend next weekend as the number one team. So I we'll see what happens. I mean, I think they're good. I think that rivalry is heating up. The Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud rivalry is going to be something huge for that division. And with CJ Stroud, I think you really are looking at the next Patrick Mahomes.
Before we go into the Jacksonville Houston game, I'm still assuming that Baltimore wins this game. Are you impressed with this Baltimore team?
No, I mean they still have holes, I think.
They should be up in this game 3 touchdowns.
They should.
I think they've gotten 4 turnovers in this game, and they're up 3 points right now in the middle of the fourth.
Lamar Jackson hasn't had the MVP quality year he's had in past years. So it looks like his offense is struggling, although they got those 2 rookie receivers. But it's interesting. It's going to be a good finish to the regular season.
All right, well, let's keep tabs on that game. NBC's doing a good job of doing another travel department of California, really selling the Santa Monica Pier tonight. I think we've seen 4 different shots of the roller coaster, the Ferris wheel, the beach. Jason Garrett keeps talking over Tirico. He's like, that is nice. What a great place to be, right, Jason? That's nice. That's nice. I don't get, I'm going to have nightmares tonight, Omar. I don't know what is going on there. All right, Jacksonville at Houston. CJ Stroud watch continues. Another good game.
He's good.
And like this year, it's totally the best year because it's just you're playing with house money. Like no one's expecting you to win the division or get to the playoffs. Like this is just flex year, and then we're gonna see what we got for next year. Jacksonville is undefeated on the road this year.
Yep.
They keep winning on the road. I'm not sure if we're counting London or not as a home or away, but they're undefeated on the road. Close game, 24-21. And this all leads up to, I wrote down the last CJ Stroud drive. He takes, I mean, we're talking about CJ Stroud as being this great prospect. He did take 2 terrible sacks on this drive.
And that really did
really hurt.
Yeah, it was bad.
Then he had 1 scramble that I think took 8 seconds off the clock, and it turned into him barely not getting sacked, and he just throws an incomplete pass where he maybe could have run it for a few yards. That leads to a 58-yard field goal attempt, and it hits the crossbar, and they don't get a chance for overtime. And they show CJ Stroud on the sideline during the field goal attempt. Not only is he not sitting on the bench, he's sitting on the floor. I don't know if you saw this, but he looked exhausted or he looked overwhelmed by everything. It was a little bizarre, the last little bit of it, because they could have easily tied that game. He threw some awesome passes. He escaped really well. And they're just not a mature enough team to make that play yet. But it was exciting. It was a great, exciting game, and Jacksonville is hot right now. So how do you feel about Jacksonville, knowing what we know now in Week 12?
I think they're gonna get a win or 2 in the playoffs. So that's definitely, Doug Peterson's a great coach. He already has a Super Bowl title to his resume. So it's definitely a team to keep an eye on.
If you're Jacksonville right now, if you're a Jacksonville fan, what would be your expectations for the playoff? Would you be disappointed if they lost in the first round? Would you be disappointed in anything but the conference championship? Like, what would the ceiling be for Jacksonville if you're a fan of them right now?
The ceiling is a title. Okay. Like I'm not putting them with Philadelphia and San Francisco yet, or Kansas City, but they have the potential to maybe get a big upset. you know? So
Uh-huh.
I like Jacksonville.
If we just stick with the AFC, can Jacksonville beat Kansas City?
Yes.
Can Jacksonville beat Baltimore?
Yes. The
Okay,
hardest
so
game,
yeah.
the hardest game would be Kansas City.
Yeah. Yeah, Kansas City I think is really battle tested and they just
But
find ways to win.
but nobody would want to play CJ Stroud in January, knowing that he's a rookie. I don't think he'd get scared by the moment.
Mhm. Yeah, I think they're last year's Jacksonville,
Yeah.
Houston at this point. Just like go play your best and hey, you might steal one. Go for it. No
I'm really
pressure.
thinking. I'm really thinking. They keep an eye out on them with with D'Amico Ryan's. They could be the Kansas City Chiefs, from 5 6 years ago.
Oh, wow. That high, you have that high a ceiling on them, huh?
It's potential out there.
And if Jacksonville gets on this big run, we're talking Doug Peterson, offensive genius coach, right? Doug Peterson from the Eagles that took them to the Super Bowl, and now,
Oh, and I was mistaken when I was talking about the old Chiefs. I'm referring to the Texans with CJ Stroud. I like his leadership, and I think his athleticism is very similar to Patrick. The playmaking with his legs is unreal.
I jumped ahead a little bit. Oh, plus Houston had their fancy red uniforms today.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan.
I jumped ahead a little bit because I want to talk the NFL doing 3 Thanksgiving games, a Black Friday game, and now we had the full slate on Sunday. I never thought I'd hear myself say this. I think this season is too long. I want to go back to 16 games. It was a clean 8-8. All right. 10-6. Like it was a number I could understand. And now we're 17 weeks and there's a million games, Black Friday game, which I'm surprised it took us this long to have a Black Friday game.
Right.
It was sitting there for us all these years. Everybody's off work. Let's have a game and get this huge viewership. And we had one for the first time ever on Friday. But Thanksgiving games, all right, Detroit loses, a bit of a surprise to the Packers.
Big surprise.
Call it a trap game, call it a short week, but I don't think anybody thought the Packers were going to go shock them. And
No.
they gave them a game late, but it was not the Detroit we've been seeing all year.
Right.
I'm surprised by that. Cowboys win big. Nobody plays bad teams like the Dallas Cowboys. And then your team, 49ers.
Cowboys and 49ers had big wins. Um, it was fun to be a 49er fan on Thanksgiving night.
Yeah, you got to be happy with that. You had the nightcap, like
I still have some concerns on defense. With the amount of star power that they have, they still have trouble getting off the field at the third down. And I'm just a little concerned because then you go to what Philadelphia did today offensively, and that was impressive.
Where are you Thanksgiving night family wise when it comes time for the late game? Because it's almost like an afterthought, the late game. Because like I was at my family or my relatives, and it was like, oh yeah, there's a late game. Oh yeah, there's one more game, and we've had the Thursday night game for over 10 years, and it seems like we still forget about it that it's happening. So where are you on the late Thursday night game?
I like it. It's fun, and I like to watch that game at home.
Yeah. Are you with family by then, or is Thanksgiving died down?
Die
What's
down. I
what's
like
the
it.
vibe?
I like the late game to be a died down event.
Yeah. So are you watching this by yourself, eating a
Yeah,
leftovers?
I watched the Niners Seahawks by myself.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's a nice way to go. Is you've got one last game you can watch in quiet. You
And
know,
I like that it was my team that had the late game.
right. And it's your team, right? It's two different teams every year.
I don't think I would have liked the Black Friday.
Oh no?
No, it's just like in the middle of Friday. It's like
Yeah. Yeah, it was
it's
at
kind of
noon. It
like
was noontime West Coast start.
yeah, it's like 1:30 for you, it's 1:30 for you, 1:30 for me, and it just seemed like I wouldn't want to do that. That's too much football. So I think Friday is the best day to have a break if you're gonna watch because Ohio State Michigan for the last several years has been a great game. So I think I don't want to. If I know I'm going to be watching football on Saturday, I'm sorry, on Sunday, and I don't want to miss that college game, Friday, Black Friday football doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, and it was an interesting matchup. I think we thought it was going to be a good matchup at the beginning of the year. I like that the Jets wore black uniforms. Hey, let's keep with the theme. Black Friday, black uniforms. And it just turns into a horrendous, a horrendous Friday game. Just rough. Well, in true Chargers fashion, Justin Tucker of Baltimore Ravens just missed a field goal. So which
means they're going to have decent field position.
Now they're going to have field position, and the Chargers are somehow, some way still in this game. I'm just going to predict it now. We're going to have an interception, a fumble. I mean, they're not winning this game. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to win, but it's going to be interesting. They're going to drive down there. You know it's going to happen. So we'll report on that as we go along. Here's some more early games.
I think Coach Staley could be fired, by the way, if he loses tonight.
I was thinking about it because
I say fired, and he's not going to be the coach for the Chargers next year. I'm just saying, if he loses tonight, he may not have a job by midnight.
Yeah, I was, because they were talking about the Jacksonville playoff comeback last year, and I was thinking like, oh yeah, they kept Staley after that. How is he still on this team?
Right.
Yeah, that is a question. Now, like, there's no way. I mean, what are the Chargers? What is their record? I don't know, but they're not going to make the playoffs.
No.
So there's no way that he stays on this. I don't know. Although I said that last year too. All right, all the early games were one-score games. And the worst of all of them was New England at the New York Giants. Somehow Mac Jones is still the starter for New England. I don't
think anymore.
They took him out at halftime.
I don't think anymore.
He's truly a broken man, Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Did you see the pick six where he throws the pick six and he's just puts his face in the dirt? Like, he has broken this poor guy. Like, I don't think he's anywhere near a healthy human being.
It's rough for him right now. It is rough, but
yeah.
Hey, it's the NFL. It's the quarterback position, you know?
Yeah, and it was a gleam of potential that first or second year he was the starter, and it is gone. The light is out. It's a bad marriage. It is bad coaching. It's bad play. It's bad everything. And of course, the New England had a chance to take this in overtime, and they missed a chip shot field goal, and
right.
they're just gone. So the DeVito lore can continue to grow there. Two teams not going anywhere, but somehow an interesting game. I just feel worse and worse for Mac Jones every year, every game. And I don't know what is going on in Bill Belichick's head. I don't know what Robert Kraft is thinking in his head for next year. What are we going to see? I mean, Bill Belichick.
There will be a new coach in New England for sure.
Next year?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. And wow. I don't think it's Bill Belichick's last job.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. That is hard to even picture in my head, him on the sideline of a different team. But I mean, you think about it, Robert Kraft is like, hey, Bill Belichick, all right, we're not going to fire you, but you can't keep hiring your sons as coordinators. We got to get our own, we got to get new staff in here. And if he says, okay, he stays. If he says no, he goes. Maybe that's the way to get him out. Maybe that's the departure. All right, Tampa Bay at Indianapolis. Indianapolis wins 27-20. Tampa Bay lost today, but in a division that isn't completely difficult. Yeah, here's Tampa Bay's next.
And hasn't this division been kind of like the weakest link in football in recent years?
Yeah, here's Tampa Bay's next 6 games: Carolina, Atlanta, Green Bay, Jacksonville, New Orleans, Carolina again.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's going to win this division.
Aside from Jacksonville, they can win all those games.
They're going to win this division, Omar. They're going to play a playoff game at home. You know it's going to happen. They'll probably mess one up and they'll lose that Carolina second game or something like that. But another fun round, and they don't win this game, but it was a 1-score game. Baker Mayfield is fun. Indianapolis is fun. Two fun teams. I kept that one like on the side screen, like on my illegal internet feed. I was like, let me keep this on the side just to
Okay.
see if Baker Mayfield makes a run or something like that. That was that game, one score game. Let's keep going with one score games. Carolina at Tennessee, keeping with the vibe of no, neither of these teams is going anywhere. All right. Can you get,
Another coach, Vrabel is going to be out.
okay, you led me into it. Do you know Mike Vrabel's coaching record, all-time career coaching record?
No,
He's 51 and 41.
it's not great.
Not great. Do you know his playoff record?
I'm gonna guess 1-3.
He's 2-3.
2-3.
So
Okay.
I mean, a very mediocre record, I would say. Not bad, but not great either. Like, I can't think of a Tennessee playoff run in all the years. He had Derrick Henry, like a couple of prime Derrick Henry years. He's had good players. He's had good defenses, but that's another one that might be on, call it a warm seat. Not a hot seat, but a warm seat. And the way the season ends may be the determining factor if he stays or he doesn't. Because who do they have on that team?
I mean, they have DeAndre Hopkins. They have uncertainty at quarterback. I mean, Levis. I mean, I think it's going to be a quarterback competition because I don't think you draft Levis so soon after Willis, and not at least open yourself up to a quarterback competition. But for sure, Tannehill will be a backup somewhere else next year.
All right, game update. We're at the 2-minute warning. Baltimore 13, LA Chargers 10. Chargers are on the Baltimore side of the 50. So, all right, here we go. We have something. Get ready for some Staley magic, Omar. Here's the other game. New Orleans at Atlanta. Atlanta wins 24-15.
Big deal. Although their quarterback, give me the quarterback's name again. Riddler.
Oh yeah, Desmond Riddler, the Riddler.
Oh, Ritter.
Yeah.
Ritter. It's like I don't know what do you think that does to those teams that you bench a quarterback, you go with another guy, you bench him, you bring the other guy back. You know what I mean? I don't know what that does to his psyche. He got the win today. I like the guy, so we'll see what happens. Their offense didn't look too bad. Derek Carr did not look great, but I don't think that's a good New Orleans team either. Now, I will say this, as far as a head-to-head matchup, that was the best uniform matchup of the weekend.
Oh yeah, I had that written down too. They had the cool red helmets, and then
I love the black
helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me think, am I stepping on best cut? No, I don't think so. Teams should have home and away helmets. We already got uniforms and pants combinations. Like, what about home and away helmets? That would be cool. Because New Orleans black helmet, the Falcons had their red helmet with the black uniforms. Looked really, really good today. I thought that was cool. For some reason, I just felt like I had to watch that game. And it was a close game, but I mean, like you said it, New Orleans can't do anything on offense. No. They really can't. They have Carr, they have Taysom Hill, which I don't think anyone's ever going to figure out how to use them.
Right.
And they score 15 points. Just a strange offensive output. All right, as expected, the Chargers turned the ball over on downs. So now
you expected it.
And it wasn't even close. I think Herbert threw one into the turf. Last early game. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Pittsburgh wins 16-10. Pittsburgh is 7-4. Do I have their record right?
Yeah.
How is this possible? Pittsburgh is excruciating to watch on offense.
I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not a good football team, but they keep winning.
Here's
the thing. I think with Joe Burrow not playing in Cincinnati, that's not a good football team.
Yeah, you got to think Joe Burrow scores more than 10 points in this game for Cincinnati. Is Pittsburgh the most confusing team in the league? Like, who's more confusing than Pittsburgh? You look at them, you're like, oh, this team's won 2 games. No, they've won 7 games.
Yeah.
How have they done it? Who's more confusing than Pittsburgh? I'm looking at the list right now. Who else would confuse me? The Rams maybe are a confusing team. Buffalo's a confusing team. But Pittsburgh is my most confusing team in the NFL. They have an awesome defense,
Yep.
but they can't do anything on offense. It's excruciating to watch them. There'll be one good pass from Kenny Pickett, and then the next one will be a simple pass that he doesn't make. Did you watch this game? Something weird
No.
happened. Something weird happened at the end of the first half of this game. The clock broke.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And the officials were like, all right, can you reset the clock? And then they line up the teams and then they stop the game. Like, okay, no, the clock's not working. We'll just keep the clock on the field. Oh, no, he says the clock on the field is working. Let's turn off the clocks on the upper deck. And then they turn those off. And then said, okay, no clocks are working. Let's turn them all off. We'll keep. So there was like 5 minutes of game time where there was no clock shown on the TV screen. And they were showing the big screen on the stadium, and they had like a text thread, and it said, referee reports 3:58 left. Referee reports. It was hilarious.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I'm like, how are we going to do this if the clock isn't working? And the refs pulled it off. I didn't know how exactly the refs really keep time, to be honest. So that was cool. It made the boring game kind of exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it went all the way to the half. I definitely went to the 2-minute warning. And the next story is this Jake Browning guy. I swear to God, you cannot do a good story about a quarterback and not expect him to do something bad on the next series. Because they did it again. He threw a pick or something after they complimented him.
Yep. He's not good.
Not good. And also, they kept cutting to Joe Burrow on the sideline, and he looks completely miserable on the sign. He sits on the bench. He wears this hat over his head. He just has this puss on his face. He doesn't look happy either. This has been a rough Cincinnati year. What do you think? What's the recovery going to be like for Cincinnati next year? Because it sounds like we're getting close to make or break time. It sounds like they're a year behind Buffalo, where it's like, oh shit, we need to figure something out.
Isn't that awful? That like, if you're Joe Burrow, you're hurt, and you got to be in Cincinnati. It's like the only reason you would go to Cincinnati would be to play in a football game. Mm-hmm. But now you get hurt, you don't play in said game, but you're still in Cincinnati.
Yeah, and the clock doesn't work. You don't even know how much time you have to stay there for. Yeah, he's not like some backup quarterbacks are like Aaron Rodgers is more engaged in the game than Burrow was today. Burrow wanted to take a nap or something. Or like if you told him, Burrow, you go watch this game from the locker room, he would have done it. He did not want to be out there. It was ugly. I wonder what level of unhappiness he's at.
It's bad.
It's bad. Here's Pittsburgh's next 5 games. Arizona, New England, Indianapolis, Cincinnati again, Seattle. They're probably going to win 4. They're probably going to win 4 of those games.
4, at least 3, and they're in good shape, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so Pittsburgh is going to silently get a home playoff game.
Yeah, that's the sad part.
It's going to be the sad home playoff game, but the home team gets blown out. It's going to be one of those where like, this is a bummer, you know? So they're my most confusing team in the league. All right, let's go to the late games. The Russ Revival Tour continues. Denver is 6-5 now? They beat Cleveland today?
Just when we wrote them off.
God, they are the biggest write-off team to make a turnaround. They won.
Really? They looked abysmal.
We thought Russ was going to quit football.
I still don't think they're going to win the playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, somehow they did that. They showed this stat during the Raiders game. Somehow the Raiders and Broncos are not out of the playoff hunt still. I don't know how this is possible, but yeah, the Broncos are still in the hunt here. And one of their wins is Kansas City. I think that's huge for morale. He's like, hey, we didn't beat Carolina twice. We took down the champs. Like, we got something. and they just keep building on this momentum. And
Really?
I think Russ has found something. Sutton either catches a crazy deep pass or gets pass interference called on him, called on his defender every other play. It's
Right.
like they figured out the little cheat code where like, all right, just throw it up the sidelines, and if you jump into the defender, you'll get a pass interference call, or you might catch it. It's unreal. They're playing really well, and if I'm what's an AFC team? Say I'm Pittsburgh. I don't want to play Denver. Like
Not at all.
they're gonna ruin for us.
Yeah. That's a crazy team.
Yeah. What are your feelings on Denver? Are you?
I mean, I still don't think they're that great. I think but
Would
given
you
the
bet on them?
talent, what would I what?
Would you bet on them?
No, I wouldn't. I still don't like Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I know, but they might have that little something where
Eh,
they're gonna fall into the playoffs and be
I don't
good.
I don't see it.
Okay, that's a fun middle of the season story because the NFL season still has a long way to go.
Oh, an eternity.
Probably the least watchable game of the week. I had LA Rams at the Arizona Cardinals.
That was a bad game too.
Everybody on the Rams had a big day today. Stafford, I think they ran for like 170. A lot of teams ran the ball well today.
Kieran Williams, he blew up today.
Mhm.
Arizona, another team. I think their coach will come back. But I don't see him as a long-term solution. But there's other coaches too. I think the Chicago coach, I think he's out. That's a bad team. Chicago's a bad team, and they played. I think they play tomorrow, and we'll get to the prediction later. But there's just not a lot. There's going to be some positions open, I think, this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe, I don't know if we keep stats for this, but like, what's the biggest turnover year in the NFL? Because I think we're going to have like 8 coaching spots that might be different next year.
I think this year's going to be wild.
Yeah. The only good thing about that Arizona game was Arizona wore these cool black uniforms today, which I don't like when a team just invents a black uniform for themselves, but maybe I'm changing my mind. It was Black Friday weekend.
What is that? What is that uniform for the Rams? Is that white? Is that
I don't know.
Is that pearl? Is it? I don't know. Or
it's like sweatpants, or they have that sweatpants gray one they wear.
It looks like sweat stains.
It was weird. The Rams were like such a cool, vibrant blue and yellow color. Like, I don't feel like they maximize their uniform. I feel like they look like they're almost like trying too hard to have a cool uniform.
Right.
And sometimes I turn on the TV and I don't even know what team I'm watching. But that's a team I don't think we're going to see in the playoffs even. And I don't know what's going on with them for next year. Like, we have to think, is Stafford the guy? Can you trade him now while he's still an asset and get something for him? I mean, they have some receivers, but they really fell off the mountain. They were the best team. They won the Super Bowl. And like they're not even in the playoff conversation. I think for some reason they get a pass that they're not performing. And they beat up on the Cardinals.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know why we aren't talking about them as underperforming. Maybe it's just because it's the Rams and they're new to LA or something. I don't know. I'll be interested to see how they change next year. All right, Kansas City at Las Vegas. Kansas City 31, Las Vegas 17. Somehow the Raiders were still in the playoff hunt. The Raiders did their classic, got off to a fast start, 14-0. And we missed a field goal. It could have been 17-0. And then the Raiders offense went into a coma again, like they always do.
Yeah.
Went into a coma. Kansas City got hot. No Taylor Swift. They beat the hapless Raiders. But Omar, I gotta say, I like this Raiders team. Like, they try hard. They really do. They don't make dumb penalties.
And I like Antonio Pierce. I think he's gonna have a good shot at getting the job. I really do. Because I think Mark Davis really likes the energy and excitement he brings to the organization. So keep your eye on the Raiders. I thought Josh McDaniels was a terrible hire. To begin with, I didn't like it, but we'll see what happens moving forward. I would be hopeful if I were them.
Do you know how many head coaches former are currently on the payroll for the Las Vegas Raiders right now?
I can't imagine how
Three.
many.
Three
Ugh.
coaches. You had Gruden, you had McDaniels, and and now they're going to have another one if they hire a different coach next year. They're going to have three. They're still paying Gruden. I think McDaniels had a 5-year deal. They fired him in year 2, and they got to find a new one for next year. So I'm with you. Like, hey, let's just keep Pierce, just so we can clear some money off the books, you know, because they reported it when they fired McDaniels. He's still on the hook for $80 million over the next, 3 years. And this is just Mark Davis just eating this pay. So I'm with you. Like, let's keep Pierce. Let's clear some money off the books so we're not to pay another head coach. And let's just see what happens. It's a young team. The Garoppolo experiment failed miserably.
But we knew that was going to happen. I don't know who thought putting Garoppolo with McDaniels was a great idea.
I don't know. Other than like they had this New England association, and then Garoppolo had a couple good San Francisco years, which mainly because of a good defense, but he had a few little flashes. But it wasn't like he was a big prospect. It wasn't like we were getting this elite quarterback. So the experiment failed. He's on the bench just watching the game. Like, he's not even starting. It's been rough. It's been a rough Raiders year. And I like these guys that they're rallying around each other. Spillane is like so fun to watch. Crosby is just this crazy person with his head on fire. He's playing hurt. And Devontae Adams seems a little bit happier. I like him. I'm trying to be glass half full Pat Ramirez because they play hard. They don't win, but they play hard. So I'm not even depressed when they lose these games at this point in the season, you know?
Right. We'll see what happens.
I hope he stays just for the Mark Davis's wallet sake. All right, biggest game of the weekend. Buffalo at Philadelphia. End of the this has been a Josh Allen debate all year long. Where are you at on Josh Allen?
It looks like that Bills window really closed fast on them, right? He's a great quarterback, Patrick, but he doesn't take care of the football, and that's why he can't really be considered the best quarterback in the league, because the superstar quarterbacks, what do? They protect the football, and he doesn't do that.
What do you think it is? Is he trying to do too much? Is he inexperienced?
I think it's a lot of Brett Favre in him. A lot of like, doesn't really need to take the chances that he does, but he'll go anyway.
And then the flip side, Philly has got to be the most. I was going to say the word is not bad. Philly has got to be the most frustrating. What are they? 11-1.
Yep.
How are they? They give every single team a chance to beat
10-1.
10-1.
Well, we'll see. 49ers next week, so we'll see how we'll see Philadelphia. But that's a good football.
Really good test.
49ers are going to need to play a perfect football game to beat that team.
End of the first half, Josh Allen is driving. He takes this ridiculous intentional grounding penalty. It's like quarterbacks at some point, they hold the ball too long and then they get in trouble and they just throw it. They just can't have the ball in their hands. He gets an intentional grounding penalty. They lose the yards. They lose the down. They're forced to kick a field goal. The field goal is blocked, so they don't even get points. Then Philly does this ridiculous fumble with 1:47 left in the half. They gave Buffalo this totally good chance to get back in the game. And remember, Philly did that idiotic fumble again in the Dallas game 2 weeks ago? They got it back, but remember, They fumbled it. Yep. I'm like, Philly, are you good or not? I don't understand this.
How about this? Philadelphia is good. I don't think you need to question them. They are the deepest team in the league. Jalen Hurts may have the best receiving core in the league. They can run the football well with Swift. Their offensive line, they
Yeah.
know their assignments. It's a tested team. They may have arguably, aside from the 49ers, they may have one of the best pass rushes in the league. And they got a secondary that knows how to really cover. And special teams, they hardly make any mistakes. So, well, I think next week is definitely the championship preview of the NFL.
Yeah, it really might be. They just find these ways to win. And it's really confusing, though, because I feel like they could have lost 5 of these games.
Right.
We have this good Josh Allen, bad Josh Allen. If he just eliminates one turnover, they get that field goal, or Philadelphia doesn't have to make a 60-yard field goal in the rain to force overtime. Romo said it, like, this kick is to save Buffalo's season. You know, if we flip it and Buffalo wins this game, how hot are we on Buffalo? How hot will we be on Buffalo right now?
Look, they gotta make the playoffs. I'm not getting hot on Buffalo until they're playing a game in the second week of January.
Right, but I'm saying if they had won this game,
then we're having a different conversation about.
Yeah, we would say like, okay, they're riding the ship, you know, all that stuff. Let me take you through Philadelphia's final drive to tie the game. They had 2 false start penalties on Kelsey, the center.
Yeah.
That leads to a 60-yard attempt, which by some luck goes in. It's a line drive kick, and it squeezes in.
And he had and he had maybe 5-6 yards to spare.
He had 5 or 6 yards to spare, but it was right up against the right upright. Any further back, it would have been wide right or would have hit the post. So I
thought he made it in. Like, I thought it was.
It was just close to the right upright. I'm saying.
Yeah, it was close, but.
Yeah, I'm saying from further distance.
In those elements, that's
right.
A kick.
It was a huge kick, and the kicker is like jumping up and down, and it's almost like the lineman didn't expect him to make it because it took them a second to celebrate. And of course, in true Jalen Hurts status, his face doesn't change on the sideline at all. He's not happy. They're in I do not want Jalen Hurts to win the Super Bowl because he never smiles.
I'm digging his vibe, Pat. I'm digging his.
He has taken stoicism to like a coma level. He sits there and he looks sad when they're doing good. He looks sad when they're doing bad. So now we go into overtime, and the Bills win the toss. The refs miss a huge pass interference penalty by the Eagles. The Bills still get that field goal because of the Allen big 3rd and 9 run. Not to mention throw in a roughing the passer penalty on that drive. So Bills get a field goal, but now Philly has the chance to score or tie it. And then we get the crucial, was it a catch? Was it a fumble call on Philadelphia? Did you see this play?
Yeah, that was a tough one. I like the call, though, and I think the review was correct.
Yeah, I think, number one, we're never going to come to an answer on any of these catch fumbles because we had one in the Chargers game, too. But that was a fumble. Whether he made the third move, he caught it 2 steps, he's putting it down, and it gets knocked out. Like, if there's no DB, he catches that ball. Like, that was a fumble. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Tough one, Patrick.
We're never going to answer these questions. Like, I don't know why we debate it because there is no answering these questions. So they keep the ball and then they get the Jalen Hurts TD run and wins the game. So a big win for Philly. What's Philadelphia's defining win? What do you think? What do you think that is? Because I can't think of one.
Well, hey, next week that's going to be the defining win. So I don't think it's worth answering questions now. Mm-hmm. We'll ask that question again next week.
I just think every single Philly game they give the other team a chance to beat them, and
we'll see.
And it takes a 60-yard field goal to get into overtime. They almost fumbled it at the end of the half. Like, they give every single team a chance to beat them, and somehow nobody beats them. And that being said, they're awesome. They're so loaded on talent. But 2 false start penalties on the center, forcing that long kick. I was like, oh, they're blowing it. And I think I've said that every single week I've watched Philly. So I think, are they the best team in the NFL?
Right now, yes. You'd have to say yes.
Yeah, right now. Who's second, do you think?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. And then kicking around in third, are we into KC?
Kansas City.
Okay. I'm with you on that. And then Jacksonville fourth. Is that what we're thinking?
Maybe Dallas fourth.
Oh, Dallas, yeah. Dallas, Jacksonville are the ones fighting for that fourth spot. I can go with you on that. That's a tough one. Dallas, I had this thought on Dallas watching the Thanksgiving game.
And I also like Miami more than Jacksonville.
Oh, I forgot about Miami. Right. So we got Miami.
I'll go Miami, Dallas to round out the top 5.
Let's pretend this is college football. We got Philly number 1.
San Francisco 2.
San Francisco 2.
Kansas City. Miami, Dallas.
What about Baltimore?
Next.
So we got Baltimore at number 6.
No, I got Jacksonville at 6. I'll take Jacksonville over the Ravens.
So we got Baltimore 7. So our top 7 is going down: Baltimore, Jacksonville, Dallas, Miami, KC, San Francisco, Philadelphia. Those 5, 6, and 7 are really tight.
And I'll take the Lions over.
Oh, forgot about the Lions.
I'll take the Lions over the Ravens.
Okay, so swap them. Baltimore, our 8th seed. Detroit, our 7th. Yeah. Oh, it's really tight in there. I like this. We'd have to go to quality.
It's going to be open.
Totally. Yeah. And some of these teams in the same division are going to beat up each other somewhat here. I don't know. I cannot wait for this Philly-San Francisco game. Where is that? Philadelphia or San Francisco?
I think San Francisco.
Oh, that's huge. If it's another game where like San Francisco's got the winning drive and Brock Purdy throws a tip ball interception and Philly wins, I'm not going to feel good about that Philly win.
No. We'll see what happens.
Oh, Philly just keeps rattling off these wins. They're just, I feel like they're like the hot chick who just keeps getting job offers. You know, like, wait a second, what do you work here? Like, oh yeah, I work. Why? How are you? I don't get it. All right. All right. This is just a confusing season. This is truly the win ugly year.
Yeah, for sure.
Did I tell you I rewatched the Dallas-Miami Thanksgiving Day game, the Leon Lett one on YouTube?
I remember what.
Talk about watching a win ugly game. I
remember where I was.
Where were you?
I was at home. It was a cold day in El Paso. I was at home, but I sat and watched that entire game.
It's an ultimate win ugly game. It's like 93.
I think I had Madden, and I think I played Dallas, Miami.
Right. Because you could pick your venues Madden, and your conditions.
You could do fair, wind, rain, and snow.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. It's a funny game because number one, Dallas is the defending champions. There's a big like Jerry Jones element to the game. If you watch it on YouTube, there's a Jerry Jones interview at halftime discussing contracts, discussing a commercial that he was in. Steve DeBerg is the Miami quarterback because Marino got hurt and then the backup got hurt. And they signed DeBerg like 5 days before the game. Right. Nobody can do anything. So they're throwing little passes to the running backs. And this second stringer practice squad running back for Dallas named Lincoln Coleman has this amazing game. And they keep joking that like, yeah, Jerry Jones signed him from the practice squad. He's paying him $100K for the year. What a steal. What a steal.
I got a question for you. We've heard of the great owners in sports obviously we hear about Al Davis and his family, but it's Al Davis, right? I mean, it was Al Davis was the owner.
Hmm.
We've had Hallis, right? Hallis, and then the McCaskey, and George Hallis was considered Chicago's, everything. I guess you could say Paul Brown. Um,
Right. Hmm.
he basically was the foundation for two NFL teams. And so where does Jerry Jones rank on your like what his impact from the perspective of being an owner is on the NFL? Is he going to go down as the GOAT, or what do you think?
I think you would have to put him as the modern day NFL owner. The what he's done for TV rights, the showcasing of the game, the stadiums. I think he has to be the modern day
Is
Hall of Fame.
Robert Kraft above him because of basically Robert Kraft creating the Patriot way? Uh,
Hmm.
what do you think? I mean, it's an interesting question. I mean, I guess it's very
Yeah, because
debatable.
how are we
But I
quantifying
think
this?
definitely how can you really measure it when when you're owning a team in a very different time? When you're owning
Yeah.
when you're being a team owner in the 1950s when you had to pay a defensive lineman who was also delivering milk, on his days off. So
Hmm.
I guess you really couldn't
Yeah,
compare.
quantifying it from an owner's perspective would be two different ways to do it. You could do it by wins or Super Bowls, or you could do it by the growth of your bottom line. And if you're owning a franchise in your business is to make money, to improve the company. And I think Jerry Jones has become his own celebrity. And I think that is the modern NFL owner. Like, we didn't know NFL owners before Jerry Jones. We didn't
Right.
talk about Tex Stram. We didn't, I mean, we talked Al Davis.
Or the only thing we did was talk about them in the football sense. We
Uh-huh.
didn't really talk about them outside the realm of football,
Hmm.
like we do, I guess, Jerry Jones, and I guess maybe possibly Robert Kraft. Maybe they've reached a certain celebrity status.
Yeah.
And then remember, and then nowadays, I mean, isn't that kind of like the new move? You get a celebrity in your ownership group. You get the Magic Johnson if you're Washington. You get the Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez if you're in Miami. It
Hmm.
isn't. I mean, like it's Tom Brady's I guess he had a minority interest in the Raiders, and it just seems like it's so hard because I think the just the difference, it's just night and day.
Yeah. It is changing as far as there was a face to the owner. And now many owners are these ownership groups. And we don't have a singular face as the
Now,
owner. We're like, this
but
is
but you
Jerry
would
Jones's
agree
team.
what hasn't changed is the importance of an owner setting the culture for a winning football team. I mean, that's
Yeah.
always going to be,
Yeah. It all
I mean,
trickles
and
down.
I guess you can maybe compare that.
Hmm.
If, given the time you were in, did you create a consistent winning environment? And I
Yeah.
think maybe I think where you can probably compare success.
Yeah. I think all those have to go into it. You're managing, you're running this uh, almost global corporation. And you're like all these moving parts and it resets every single year. I just, yeah, I can't wrap my head around what these owners do 365 days a year. Like it never.
Well, apparently Dan Snyder apparently was playing golf and harassing women. Like, you know.
Right. Like just think of the crazy shit that the owners have experienced in their lifetime of owning an NFL team.
Well, I mean,
The
here's the thing: we'd be foolish to think that when all these owners are together, it's not like a frat house. I mean, these guys have
Yeah, these
these
are
guys.
alpha males. They
Yes,
want to
these
win in
guys,
every regard.
and everything is done in excess, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so these guys, wow. I mean, they're something else. I mean, I imagine there's a lot of stuff we don't know.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Just the behind the scenes of it all. We'll never know. We can only imagine what these multi-billionaire owners go through on a daily basis.
Robert Kraft was getting hand jobs on the way to a football game. I mean,
I knew you were going to circle back to that somehow, some way when we brought this up. Owners are going to own, Omar. You're going to let them do their thing, man. You know, the last thing on the snow game, the Dallas one, Jerry Jones goes down to the field, you know, for the last play. And the broadcast is so awesome because they blocked the field goal. They cut to Jerry Jones. They don't even show the end of the play. Jerry Jones is going like this. Troy Aikman is hugging Michael Irvin. And then you see their faces go like, what? Wait, what happened? What happened? Right. And then they kick the winning field goal. And it's just the craziest game because not only is there snow on the field, they don't clean the field the whole game.
Right.
They have a snowplow and they did the yard lines, but they didn't do the 50-yard line. They didn't do the hash marks. I'm like, what? Are we at a loss of snowplows? Why are we playing on this snow field?
Do you remember the kicker?
Oh yeah, well I watched the game, so yeah, I remember all the names.
That's right.
Yeah, Stoyanovich.
Yeah, Pete Stoyanovich
Kicked it. Leon Lett fumbled or touched the ball, fumbled it. It was great. It was a throwback. It's not a good game, but it was fun to see that. Like I just couldn't believe they couldn't clean the field. it was pretty funny. I recommend going back and watching it. It was good. All right, that was week 12 in the NFL. That was Thanksgiving. That was Black Friday. That was a whole lot of football. So that leads us to the awards, Omar, for week 12. And our first award to give out today is Best Quote. You know, we didn't have Chris Collinsworth this week. So I had to quote Jason Garrett. And in commenting on the Chargers uniforms, he said, "Maybe this will change the mojo, but it doesn't feel right to me." That was his quote on the Chargers navy blue uniforms. Jason Garrett.
That was a good one, but I think Tom Brady taking a swipe at the league, basically saying the league is not as good as it used to be. And
I saw that.
And then Alex Smith clapping back and said, "It's coming from the guy that played in the worst division in football history."
Right. I saw that clip too. That was a good take by Alex Smith. A lot of these people don't say shit, especially former players.
Tom Brady. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if
you see Ryan react to that comment?
If you think Tom Brady was protected by the referees, you wait and see life after football and how much Tom Brady's going to be protected by the league.
Yeah.
Just that GOAT image, you know, it's going to be like the way, 2 generations back, revered Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle, the way, and Babe Ruth for that matter, you know, it's going to be a name that's going to carry for what the NFL hopes the next 100 years. So yeah, taking swipes at Brady, we'll see how long you last in the business if you're taking a swipe at Tom Brady.
In a world of hot takes, though, I feel like that was a good one because the point is well taken. They did not play in a difficult division. Miami was never good. The Jets were never good. That was not a hard division. The best, right. I mean, the Jets were good for 1 or 2 years, and that was it. So I liked it. I think that's a good pull on the quote there. Next award, Hot Take Award. And my hot take is, I just wrote it down without even thinking. I don't even know if this works out mathematically. Denver's going to make the playoffs. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know who needs to lose. But my hot take is Denver's going to get in the playoffs. You watch and see. Hot take. I don't even know if it's possible.
My hot take, the 2028 Super Bowl champions, the Houston Texans.
Oh, 2028. Yeah. Wow, this is a long bet.
Yeah, they're going to play the long game.
2028. Are there odds up yet on Houston winning the Super Bowl next year? Because that would be an interesting bet.
I will see.
Are they 50-1, 100-1? At 100-1, I'd be like, hey, go for it.
I like what I see from this guy, from this kid, CJ Stroud.
All right, 2028. When we're doing the Sunday Night Talk in 2028, we can see if this bet pays off. All right, next award. This is the Best Innovation Award. You know what my best innovation is? And it comes with a question after it. The mouthpiece. Look at how many variations of the mouthpiece there are in the league. Some people like quarterbacks just have the little single piece they put in their mouth. Pat Mahomes has like an Invisalign looking one.
That's a good one.
Defenders and receivers have one that attaches to their face mask and it dangles, and then they put it in. And then a lot of receivers and DBs don't even put the mouthpiece in their mouth. It's dangling
Right,
the whole time.
on it. Yeah, or yeah, just
Yeah, and then the play starts and then it just falls out and it's not even in there. And the linemen, like, I don't know what the linemen do because I imagine they are the most important to have a mouthpiece. I don't know what they do, but I went with my best innovation is the mouthpiece. I like it.
You liked Marcus Allen growing up, correct?
Yeah, I was a Marcus Allen fan.
Okay. Would you pay $100 for a Marcus Allen mouthpiece?
100?
Actually used in the game.
Yeah, I probably would because it would have his teeth marks in it, because they mold them.
That'd be kind of fun. I wonder, like, at what point would you say, nah, that's too much for a mouthpiece?
Right. If we get to the 200 plus, that might be too much. A game-worn mouthpiece, though. 100?
Yeah. What about the mouthpiece from that Super Bowl run against the Redskins when he reversed? Yeah, I mean, that would be a mouthpiece, right?
That's right. I would make a shrine to it.
I think he had a mouthpiece in. I want to say I remember him with the mouthpiece on during that run.
I have to go back and see because I don't remember him ever having one attached to his helmet. So he must have had a singular one that he would put in his mouth. And also there was like a big art to how you would store your mouthpiece when you're on the sideline. Like, do you stick it in your face mask? Do you put it
I always like the helmet.
Put it in the brow. Yep. And then every once in a while there'd be like a lineman or some big oaf guy, and he would put it in his ear like a pencil. Remember that? You'd see that every now and again. He'd stuff it in there. So I'm going to go with the mouthpiece as my best innovation. And I would like to have a Marcus Allen mouthpiece and make a shrine out of it. I put like in the picture of him running it in the Super Bowl. I'd put like maybe I'd get a picture of his Hall of Fame bust in there. I'd make it
there was no mouthpiece, Patrick.
There was what?
There was no mouthpiece on that.
He didn't have one?
No.
Wow. That's kind of dangerous, don't you think?
I am seeing here a white undershirt. I don't see a towel that you can buy, or you can.
Towel would be good.
You would take a towel?
Towel would be good. Yeah, I like that.
I think you're just obviously the jersey is either in Canton or in his personal collection. The football, the helmet, right. I'm sure. How much? White socks. How much you paying for his white socks from that game?
Oh, both white socks. I'm in around 100 to 200 again. I can make another shrine.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I'd go for that. What about a jock strap? How much for a jock strap? Game worn. That's a Super Bowl jock strap, Omar. Yeah, maybe that will be up there with mouthpieces, the jock strap. Who invented that? We need some sort of undergarment that holds us in place. There had to be thought behind that.
Yeah, for
sure.
Get
on that. Right up there with the mouthpiece. What's your best innovation?
I just said that it was too much football, but I said this a few years back on the show. Friday football is coming to the league at some point. I have said this for years that at some point in time the NFL is going to have a game, hopefully by every day of the week.
Every day of the week would be exhausting. I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't it turn into the NBA. And I would just be like, I'd be skipping these games all the time. I like, just give me the Sunday football day. Put it all together. I wouldn't like it. The holiday weekend games, I'll go with you on that. Like the Thursday, give me a Friday one. But every day of the week, that'd be insane. You couldn't do that. These players' legs would fall off.
Yeah, but when you think about it, you waste an entire Sunday. So now I think you'd be more selective about the games you watch.
Mm-hmm. It would be good to be able to spend more time watching a game as opposed to jumping around.
Right. We'll see.
Okay. Next award, the Cringeworthy Award. You know what my Cringeworthy Award is this week?
What was that?
It's a certain type of commercial that I've been seeing a lot of. commercial number one, these gambling commercials. The Kurt Warner has one for like FanDuel or DraftKings,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
half the commercial is him giving a disclaimer. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800. Remember to bet responsibly. Never bet more than like the half the commercial is like don't gamble, but it's an ad for gambling. It's like the side effects for prescription medications at this point. And in the second ad that makes me nervous, did you see these ads for Jesus or religion stuff that they're playing during games? And there was one today that said, families fight a lot during the holidays. And it's these pictures of families like making mean faces. And at the end it says, Jesus had a messy family too. I'm like, what is this commercial? This is making me uneasy. And then lastly, you know which commercial I think I hate the most is when they do these sad old people commercials. You see the one of the old ladies sledding down a hill. It's like for Amazon or something. And they're playing like the sad Beatles song. I'm like, oh yeah, these ladies are going to pass away soon. I don't like being bummed out by these commercials. So my cringeworthy is all these like emotional commercials
that
about
emotional. Okay, that
I don't like it.
I forgot. That was. I'm excited about the game. It's the 2-minute warning. I don't want to think about some lady losing her, her marbles in an old, getting felt up in an old movie, theater by her husband.
Yeah, there was one where like the granddaughter's driving the grandma around to like memorable places. I'm like, Jesus, I don't need to be thinking about the end of my grandparents' life right now. Can we just keep the fun stuff? It's Thanksgiving. Jesus had a messy family. I don't need this right now. I'm an emotional wreck. It's been too hard of a week. Man, cringeworthy. Cringeworthy, Omar. What do you got for your cringeworthy award?
Mac Jones and his exit from New England.
I didn't think I could
We'll
get it.
just leave it at that.
Okay, I'm gonna save something for Mac Jones later. Best costume design of the week. We already.
I've exhausted my argument for how great I think the Houston Texans read, but I'm gonna go. I think I mentioned earlier in the show the blue, the Navy Chargers blue. I liked it.
I was surprised how much I liked those too. I was like, yeah, stick with that. That's good. White helmet looked good too. I went with the concept of a home and away helmet. Let's have a home and away helmet. We have enough uniform things already. Why not? Like the New Orleans black helmets for home and gold for the road, or just the simple, every team has a white version of their helmet.
For sure.
And you wear the white helmet on the road if you so choose. I'd be for that. I'd be for a home and away helmet. Next award is Advice Alley. And I got two pieces of advice. Number one, first advice is to Mac Jones. No one would blame you, Mac Jones, if you just got in your car and you drove away tonight.
I'm going to second your advice.
Just drive, man. Drive back home. Parents. Where's he from? Go back where you're from.
No. How about just go drive to Tuscaloosa and ask Saban to teach you coaching. You know what I mean?
Be a quarterback coach or something.
Yeah, go back before another pro goes back. Do that. Try to do the John Shire thing that from Duke with Coach K. Just go back to Tuscaloosa.
No one would blame you. Just like while you still have your mental capacity, get out of here. Just you got to divorce yourself from this. This is only hurting you at this point. Get in your car and drive. Pack a U-Haul. Don't tell anybody and just go. You need to find yourself. Like Andrew Luck, he knew that it was time to go. So that's my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice is by some weird way, stroke of the football gods, if Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl, Dak Prescott should retire and just go off to the sunset this year. Like you won the Super Bowl. You don't need this anymore. You don't need the aggravation. You don't need the pressure. Go home. It's enough already.
That's interesting. Okay, we'll see how that plays out.
That's if he wins the Super Bowl by some stroke of luck. I say call it. You did what you could do. That's my advice. Two pieces of advice. One is to retire. One is to drive away. What do you got? What's your advice, Allie, for the
I
week?
like. I was gonna. I second that one.
You like them both.
I like them. I like them all.
Yeah, I told you it's a long week. Next award, the Sunday double feature. What movie would you want to watch after this week in the NFL? I got two lines of thought on this one.
I'm gonna dive back into the Lord of the Rings this week.
Are you? You're a Lord of the Rings guy?
Ooh, big Lord of the Rings.
I
guy.
nejust got into that series. Just seemed like it was for kids, and I didn't like it. Did you read the books too?
No, I never did.
You're just a movie guy. You're like, that's why we get along, because we don't read.
Not a reader. I'm never a reader.
No, me neither. I think that's why we became friends. We just don't read. You know, on my Sunday double feature, two lines of thought. I got number one, all the LA shots, all the Santa Monica Pier. I went with LA Story, the Steve Martin.
Ooh.
LA, like that's an LA movie I don't think a lot of people talk about. It's really poking a lot of fun about LA culture. And it's a good movie. And then secondly, because I think Chris Collinsworth might have secretly got kidnapped and we don't even know it, I went with you could watch Taken or Ransom. Two good kidnapping movies.
Great. That's a good list there.
I want a movie about Chris Collinsworth getting kidnapped because this can't go on. They Jason Garrett in the booth anymore. This is ridiculous. He's rolling up his sleeves, talking about wristbands. No more. NBC, please. For the love of God. And last award, who won the week? Omar, who do you think won the week?
I'm going to say that the Jaguars, that was a big game because remember, they took a lot of heat for losing that the home opener against the Texans. And so I think they definitely won the week.
Is Jacksonville your favorite non-49ers team of the year?
No. My favorite it's the Dolphins.
Oh, really? Why the Dolphins?
Yes. One, I'd like to see that Super Bowl rematch from Marino, Montana. But I just really like Mike McDaniel.
Yeah. Have you caught any of the Hard Knocks in season?
No, and I'm going to now.
Episode 1 was really good. That's what
I heard.
I think it's going to do a lot for Tua because I never knew Tua had this personality. You see him on the sideline, he's really quiet. In Hard Knocks, like he's joking around, he's really friendly. He gets cornrows in his hair, and he's joking around about it. I really liked episode 1. They're really like friendly, fun. You can tell they're friends. And in the Mike McDaniels element is pretty cool. Like he's the new generation of coach. Like you need a nerd to be your coach now. No more Andy Reids, no more Bill Parcells. Like you need a skinny nerd who grew up playing Madden.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, the Dolphins. Surprising me that you're a secret Dolphins fan. And Jacksonville won the week for you. I got who won the week. I got the run game. The run game won the week for me this week. Big runs, big numbers, not a lot of passing, lower scoring games. I think the run game is back.
That's a good one.
It used to be you ran the ball, you won games, and now it's flipped. But this week, a lot of good running. Plus, I told you I watched that Thanksgiving game, the Dallas Cowboys snow game, and it was all running and 3-yard passes. All right, that leads us to one and only one game left in the NFL, and that is the Monday Night Football game this week. It is Chicago at Minnesota. It's been a wild week. It's been a holiday weekend. This one caps it off. Omar, predict the game.
It is going to be Minnesota tomorrow. Chicago's a horrible team, and it's going to be Minnesota big. I'm going to take Dobbs to throw at least 2 touchdown passes. He's going to run one in. It's going to be the Vikings by at least 3 touchdowns.
Wow. Are you all in on the Dobbs-a-sons? Are you a believer?
I like it. I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's talented. He's very raw. I think he's very raw. So let's see what happens.
It's been such a wild week. It's been such a long season. I'm going Bears. I think the Bears are going to steal it.
I like it.
I say they steal it. Somehow Fields throws a couple touchdowns, maybe runs for one, and Dobbs has the one bonehead interception, and we like, well, Dude, let's give him a pass. He's been playing so well. So I'm going to go Bears over Minnesota Monday night for capping off week 12. Oh, I had one last thought before we go. I should have put this in best innovation. Did you notice Bradley Cooper was in the Philadelphia press box?
Now, what was he doing?
Oh, he's a Philadelphia guy. He's a Philadelphia fan.
But they said these Hollywood guys.
Well, here's my thought, because, we had, Taylor Swift is in the press box for Kansas City. Like, I think each team should have their celebrity for the year. It could change every year. And they get to be in the press box and they get to champion the team for a year. Like, remember Paul Rudd was like a KC guy. So I say there needs to be every year a team celebrity, and they could unveil it like week 1. He could do the coin toss.
Okay.
And we could have something. Oh, you know what I skipped?
The game.
Let's finish it off with this. Trivia.
Okay.
Thanksgiving trivia for you, Omar.
Let's do it.
Here we go. 5 questions. Who was the first president to pardon a turkey?
Holy crap. I know this. I freaking...
Oh, do you? A lot of people don't know you're a history guy, so I thought this might be.
This is going to kill me because I'm going to get it wrong. But I think the first president to pardon a turkey, was it FDR?
First president to pardon a turkey was John F. Kennedy.
Oh.
My God, I know that because I went on a deep JFK assassination conspiracy rabbit hole, and I found that out during it.
Good, interesting.
Question number 2. When was the very first Thanksgiving NFL game played?
What year?
What year?
I'm going to go 1948.
1920.
Wow.
Was the very first NFL Thanksgiving game. Question number 3. The term Black Friday refers to what for businesses?
The first day of the holiday season. Shopping.
You're close, but it's more specific than that.
Oh, like the actual where the terminology comes from.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Black Friday refers to businesses doing most of their business, therefore getting back into the black as far as their finances. Because they're in the red all year long. They do the most sales. They get back into the black. They become profitable for the year. Question number 4. The butt fumble. The coin toss heads call that was misinterpreted, and the Terrell Owens stands on the Dallas Star. Which one of these events did not happen on a Thanksgiving game?
The Terrell Owens was a Sunday. I remember I was doing laundry on a Sunday morning.
You got it. Butt fumble was Thanksgiving night. The Jerome Bettis coin toss call heads that the referee turned into tails was on Thanksgiving. Terrell Owens was not on Thanksgiving Day. And last question, besides the Lions and the Cowboys, which team has had the most Thanksgiving Day game appearances?
That's a great question. I am going to say the Packers.
The Chicago Bears
had
the most Thanksgiving.
It was going to be one of those teams. Yeah.
One of the NFCs. Yeah. Excellent.
It was going to be in that division.
Yep. Well, that was week 12. Is it seriously week 12? It is week 12.
It is.
Week 12 in the NFL. That was the Sunday Night Talk for me, Patrick Ramirez, for Omar Carmona. See you next week. Thanks, buddy. All right, that is it. That is the show. That is the Sunday Night Talk for week 12 in the NFL. What a week. A lot happened. If you're like me, you need some decompress time from the week. You need to breathe. Just think about breathing. Start there, and let's go one day at a time. That's all we can do. Hey, don't forget, if you're new to the YouTube channel, please take the time and subscribe to it. Just click it. All my videos are up there. My interview series, my stand-up comedy clips, not to mention my movie series is there as well. It's all there on the Running It Back Network right here on YouTube. And your support helps. It helps the channel, and I'm going to keep it pumping out. Well, That was week 12. That was Omar Carmona. We talked about it all. A little trip down memory lane, Thanksgiving style. I personally am stuffed, and somehow I want to keep eating. There's no guarantees I won't. Hey, thank you for listening, everyone. That was me, Patrick Ramirez, and Omar Carmona for the Sunday Night Talk, for the NFL, for everything, for the holidays. Stay strong, everyone. See you next week.